How are you?
I'm doing good, doing good. No complaints. Can't
Are
complain.
you?
It's all heading in the right direction.
That's good. Are you in New York at the moment?
Yes, I am. Yep. I just got here in preparation for my one man show.
Okay, first off, how do you feel?
Nervous, excited, all the things. You know what I mean? It's the first time I'm doing anything like this, so I'm feeling all the things.
Okay, so for those that may not know exactly what it's about, can you just give a brief description?
Yeah, my one man show is about it's called Be True, and I'm doing it in conjunction with Audible. And it's basically, so many times we go through heartbreak, we go through heartache, we go through down times, we go through, things that we would call breakdowns. And we don't really see how that leads to a breakthrough or how heartbreak leads to healing. And so this one man show has been my journey over the past few years. And I kind of walk people through my healing journey, with the goal of one, entertaining but also inspiring. And so I get a chance to be at the Minetta Lane Theatre in New York. It's a legendary theater to do this off-Broadway show. And I've never done anything like it. And I'm excited for those that are coming because I think people are going to be blessed, because I want to bring hope to Broadway. And I think that what I've experienced in my life over these past few years can certainly do that.
That's very interesting that you said blessed out of everything. So I thought that was really interesting. Why a one-man show?
Well, because one, it was just the opportunity that Audible presented because they own the Minetta Lane Theater, and the audio that will be recorded at the performances will then take the shape of an audiobook, which will release next year. And
Mm,
and then the other part of it for me was a unique opportunity. I was like, wow, this is very unique. How often do you get a chance to write your own one man show, put it up at a major theater off Broadway, and be able to kind of use the stage to entertain, to inspire, to motivate, to maybe even produce healing? Like that, it was such a unique opportunity. That's why I really responded to it, even though I've never done it. I'm nervous. I'm praying it goes well. I don't know. We're gonna see. But I'm just really excited for the opportunity.
The one thing I really like about this, talking about breakdown, breakthrough, heartbreak, all of these things, is it's coming from a male's perspective.
Yes.
I think we often see, maybe not a one-man show, but we often see the journey through women.
Yes.
Is this direct, is like, of course you want both audiences, but is this something that you really want to speak to men about and going through their journey?
Um, Yeah, great, great question. Yes, I want to speak to men and women for sure, both. And I think that, as a man, we don't really get a chance, or we don't take the chance to
Yeah.
really express ourselves. And I think a lot of times that's cultural, and it's the way we're kind of socialized as a young man growing up. When we cry, the first thing we're usually met with is some form of violence.
Mhm.
Stop crying, be a man. And so what happens is we internalize and we take things in, and we never really talk through what we go through. And so my hope is that, by doing this one man show, by doing this show Be True, that I can model maybe even a new form of manhood, which is, vulnerability leads to victory. And I think sometimes people say, oh, well, I want a man to be vulnerable, but not too vulnerable. And it's
Right.
like, no, no, no. It takes more strength to be vulnerable and transparent than it does to bench press 250 pounds, than
Mm.
it does to remain quiet when there's something going on in you that you want to express. And so my hope is that, I can reach both men and women, because I think there's a lot that women need to know about what we as men go through. And then I hope that, a lot of men come through and get, whatever I can offer as it relates to being a catalyst for their healing. I really want to do that. And I think this show really can do that.
I love that. I really do. Because I often have conversations with the men in my life about there's really nothing for them, and we'll have conversations. And I think, especially as women, it's so interesting when you're able to be in the room and men are expressing themselves and you're just listening. Because
Mm,
it's rare. I think it's a privilege when men are able to like really express how they feel. But because we rarely see it on the screen, I think it's just not the norm. And so
yeah.
I know women, but I think this is dope because I rarely hear the side of men.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's a very unique opportunity, and this show is also entertainment.
Yeah.
So it's a unique opportunity in that where I'm going to bring people on this journey in an entertaining way. So, I'm going to bring people into the scenes of the my movie, the life of my movie, right? Like, so it's going to be entertaining and inspiring and cathartic all at the same time. And I think what I want people to take away, especially even, men, as you're mentioning, is that we all have a story.
Yeah.
We all have a story, and that story is worth being told. And the only thing that we own in this world is our story. That is the thing. And a lot of times we don't want to tell our story, or we let other people tell our story. And for me, when I'm doing Be True, it's about taking ownership of my story as a way to help others take ownership of theirs, and using theater and the arts and entertainment as a way to do that.
How has even doing this process, writing it, working on it,
Yeah.
to now getting to the part where you're about to perform it, how have you grown from this experience?
Oh my goodness. I mean, it's interesting that I would have an opportunity to process. Like, I've gone through the experience, right? But now having the opportunity to write this show, it gave me the opportunity to process everything I've been through. And there were some moments that were very tough, very, very tough, that I had to relive and had to figure out how I wanted to communicate what I went through. And then there were some moments that had me laughing. I was just like, I can't believe that I did this. I cannot believe this was my experience. And I think that's what's going to be so cool about this show is it really dramatizes the highs and the lows. There are some moments where you probably will be brought to tears, and there are other moments where you will laugh along with me. And this process has been so cathartic. I'm so grateful for the opportunity, because so often we go through things
Hmm.
and our focus is getting to the other side of whatever it is. And as a result, we don't always stop to process what we needed to take away from what we just went through.
Mm,
And the things we go through are not just designed to get us to a destination. The things we go through are designed to give us a revelation. What's that revelation of ourself?
mm,
What are the areas that we need to work on? What are our traumas? What are our trigger points? What are the wounds that we still have? So for me to be able to write this and then perform it, it has been cathartic, and I think it will be cathartic to be able to put this up on its feet in front of a live audience. And my hope, my prayer, is that I'm able to bring people in on the journey so that they experience these same range of emotions, and it makes them think about their life, and it makes them think about what areas do they need to be true. And that's one of the reasons why I call it Be True, because I believe that this is the path. Whoever we are, whatever our truth is, being true to ourselves, being true to God, being true to our belief system, that's the path. And not everybody's going to agree with your truth, and that's okay. But sometimes I've noticed, because I was guilty of this, and I talk about this in the show, that I would suppress my truth. I would suppress, who I am, in order to either make others happy, or to not be criticized, or to not, be chastised. And so for me, this process of writing it was all about, okay, I've got to get true in the writing. So that's why when you see this show, it's the most real, most honest, most transparent I've ever been.
mm.
And I'm hoping and praying that people see it and they respond to it, because not only does like attract like, but truth attracts truth. And I really want this show to put truth and being true back in fashion, because at the end of the day, that's the path, right? That's the path.
Wow. Okay, you said a whole word. I appreciate it. I took it all. So I saw that you did a run through.
Yeah, I did a run
Some
through. I did.
people, what have they said?
Oh man, I mean, it was amazing. I mean, people were crying, they were laughing, they were clapping, they were at times just shocked at what I said, how I said it. They didn't know that what my story was, and so many people came out of that rehearsal just talking about how much they could relate to it. There were, about half the room was men, half the room were women, and the men said, "Wow, you spoke to things that I've experienced,
Yeah.
and you articulated emotions that I didn't know how to express." And then the women in the audience were just saying, wow, it was so emotional and it touched our soul. And so it was great to do that dry run. I mean, it was very dry, it was very rough. But I'm so glad that what I was trying to communicate seems like that is getting across,
Yeah.
if rehearsal is any indication.
You are currently playing a pastor on Divorced Sistas.
Yes. Yes.
I don't quite know how I feel.
That's good acting. That's good.
Yeah, I listen. So I have. It's a two-part question. How similar are you to him?
Oh, well, night and day. We're two different people.
Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. And what would you, if he were to go see Be True, what would you hope he took away from your performance?
Yeah, that the for him to express himself.
Mm.
Like he and Rashida at the beginning of this series are going through some challenges. Rashida is obviously played by the great Latoya Luckett in
Mhm.
the series, and Pastor Jefferson is going through challenges, and he's actually not doing a great job of expressing himself. He's using anger as the color with which he paints his comments, and the challenge there is that anger usually only paints in one color.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that color is very abrasive to the very person you want to embrace what you have to express. So my hope is that if Pastor Jeff came to hear me do the Be True show, that he would take away compassion, that he would take away communication, that he would take away peace.
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay to express yourself. You don't have to be angry. You don't have to be frustrated. You can really sit in your truth about how you feel about your wife, about yourself, about the church. You can sit in that and express that in a way that brings your wife in on your struggle, not keeps her away from
You're a very busy person
it.
because you were shooting Divorced Sisters, you were working on this project. You also have some projects in the work.
Yep.
Number one, how do you find time to do it all?
Well, I don't have a good answer to that question. They say, if you want something done, give it to a busy person. So for me, I got started in entertainment when I was 18 years old.
Mhm.
And I started as an intern for Will Smith and then worked my way up to become an executive at Columbia Pictures for about 10 years. And then now, I run my own production company for 10 years, DeVon Franklin Entertainment. And the reason why I articulate that is that the original mission for me to go into entertainment was I believe entertainment is one of the most powerful mediums in the world, and I want to use it to change people's lives for the better, to bring hope, to bring inspiration. And so everything that I do from the day I set foot in entertainment to right now, all the things you listed, producing Ruth and Boaz for Netflix, acting in Divorced Sistas for BET Plus, doing a one-man show for Audible, in addition to all the other things that I have going on, it all is the same thing being done in different ways.
Yeah.
Anytime you see me, it's going to lead to inspiration, motivation, hope in some way. And so the way I can do it is that I'm not doing different things. I'm doing one thing differently, but
Mm.
it all comes back to the one thing. And I think that kind of helps me, psychologically, energetically, spiritually, be able to handle what seem like different things, but it's really one thing, just doing it different ways, if that makes sense.
No, it does because yeah, that's the one thing I was like, there is a constant in the
Hmm.
work that you do, whether you're in front, behind the scenes,
Yeah.
and whether you're pushing projects through and things like that. It seems like right now, or at least in recent years, you've been pushing yourself more to the front, like acting and in these projects. Was it like, is this the perfect time that you decided this is when I wanted to act, this is when I wanted to do this, or it just came that way?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, no, there has been no push from me to in front of the camera. I mean, this has almost been a calling. I really haven't had much to do with it at all. It's the first major opportunity I had to act came at the beginning of 2022, where I was approached by the producers that did this film called Jesus Revolution for Lionsgate, along with Kelsey Grammer and Joel Courtney, and they offered me a part in that film. And at first, I was going to say, "Well, I'm not an actor," but I stopped myself because a lot of times we put ourselves in a box, and while that box is comfortable, it also is confining. So when they gave me that opportunity and said, "Hey, we're going to offer you the part. You don't even have to audition. We just think you represent what this character is." I had to then say, okay, let me not assume that I know what I'm capable of and I know what I'm supposed to do. So I read the script. I said, yeah, I'll do it. We closed my deal. I worked with my acting coach and got ready and did it, and it went well. And then that led to me doing romantic lead in a BET Plus film. And then I was on a show that I produced called Kingdom Business. And then I did a film with William H. Macy called Soul on Fire, which comes out in October. And then Tyler hit me up about Divorced Sistas. And here we are, being one of the stars of the show and 16 one-hour episodes. And so, long answer to your question, the acting has found me. I did not
Mm,
pursue it. And I think one of the reasons why I appreciate the question and I would love the opportunity to articulate it because so often we have this hustle mentality, this grind mentality. And what I've noticed is we did not create ourselves.
right.
We actually do not know all that we are capable of and all that's possible. And sometimes when we're hustling for one thing or we're grinding for something, we don't open ourselves up to receive. So, if anything, what I've learned over these past few years, which is why I'm excited about doing Be True, is that there's something powerful when you operate in your truth where you open yourself up to receive. And there's so much more that wants to come in than what we know if we would just allow. And so the acting is an allowance. The acting is just like it's a place of just me saying, okay, I'm going to be open and I don't know if I can do this and I might fail and it might go terribly. But you know what? I'd rather live on the other side of that
Hmm.
or instead of just staying here in fear. So I just encourage anybody, don't presume you know who you are. You may know a portion, but you may not know the fullness of it. And allow more to come in and don't be afraid to fail. Like I'm getting ready to stand. I'm in New York, okay? I'm about to be on this stage Friday night, Saturday night. There's nobody else. There's no band. There's no other actors. It's just me and the audience. It might go terribly. Okay. So I just have to say, okay, if that's what's meant to be, if that's what I need, it's okay. So long answer to your question. I didn't push myself in front of the camera. The camera in front of the camera has calling me and I'm answering the call and we'll see what God intends.
First off, I feel like I needed to hear all of that.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
I definitely appreciate it because that's definitely in the space I'm in. So I appreciate some of the things that you were saying. When you said you can fail, right? This can be go really bad. So what's your well, I'm just, and realistically, right? This can go really great or really bad, but it seems that you're prepared for whatever happens, right? You prepared
Correct.
enough and what is supposed to happen is gonna happen. So what's your relationship towards failure?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that specific word. I was just listening to an old video from Kobe Bryant. And he mentioned that, he didn't believe in failure because at the end of the day, failure always, if we choose to receive it, produces a message or a lesson. And if we take that lesson and we apply it to whatever the next situation is, it's not failure. It's actually very useful. So for me, I just have to get comfortable with I have an expectation and a desire for how I want this show to go.
Mhm.
And it may not go that way. And
Right.
so the comfortability is to say this may go differently. It may go better than my expectations. It may go worse than my expectations. However, if it goes worse than my expectations, then I need to analyze that, get the lesson, and then apply it to my next attempt. And I'm so grateful that I get two shots, at least for the Be True show. Right now, I get two opportunities to get it right. And I'm hoping I knock it out of the park on the first one. And I believe and pray that will happen. But I think so often we get so caught up with, oh, it's got to be successful and it's got to work, that we don't allow ourselves just to be open. Hey, you know what? It may not go according to your expectation. And that's okay. Because if I'm like this, then it won't go according to my expectations. But if I'm open, say, hey, let's see what happens. I'm going to prepare. I'm going to do my best. And then we'll see what happens. So that's the relationship that I have to have with so-called failure. That at the end of the day, it's not failure. It's an opportunity to learn and then apply what I've learned.
I love that. And I saw your photo with the Phylicia Rashad. Like I
Yes.
love it, love it, love it. What was it like working with her?
Oh my goodness. She's amazing. She's incredible. What was it like? It was just a divinity every day. I mean, when she steps onto set, she just has an aura about her, a calm, a peace, a presence, an excellence about her. And what was amazing, I cast her in my new film, Ruth and Boaz, which is a modern telling of the biblical love story of Ruth and Boaz. And she stars as the character Naomi. And one day we were shooting on set. We shot in Georgia, in and around Atlanta. And in between scenes, she calls me over. We were shooting at this house and that was overlooking the lake. And she says, "Here, come here." And I'm like, "Okay." And so I sit down. She says, "Sit down." And I sit down right next to her. And she basically says, "Look, I want you to take this in. This is your production. You're doing a great job. But I don't want you to miss this. This is beautiful. Take it in. Breathe. You got this." And I said, "Wow,
Mm.
how amazing that she would take the time to be that thoughtful and also that encouraging, because this was the first movie that I was producing underneath my new deal with Tyler Perry and Netflix. And there's a lot at stake and a lot on the line. And she sees me running around set here and there, and she said, "Stop, take it in." So I said, "Wow." If not only did she do a great job in the movie, but she gave me a perspective that I needed.
I think that we all need, because I think that's the thing. We especially when you're working on something, you
Yep.
take the moment to see how far you've come from the beginning of the creation of it to where you're at the moment, to just look around and see everything that it is. So I think that's just in general like really good advice. I hear amazing things with working with her. Like
Oh yeah, she's
everybody
incredible.
I know that has had the pleasure with working with her, everyone has like this moment where she just like spoke over them. And
Oh
it's
yeah.
like, yeah.
Magical. It's just like one of your, ancestors just speaking to the depths of your soul. That's how it felt. And, Tyler Lepley plays Boaz in Ruth and Boaz, and Soraya McNeil plays Ruth in Ruth and Boaz. And both of them had the same experience, working with Phylicia. She just gives life and she elevates every moment on screen and off screen.
I love that. You have a lot, so when it comes to the projects, you're gonna get back behind the scenes in a sense, right? Because you have Ruth and
Oh, I'm gonna do both. I mean, it's all, we're doing both. So yes,
well, yes, but like so, like we'll say, like the start of this year, we saw you on the screen.
yeah,
Not saying that you're gonna pause or anything, but just
sure.
the way things are rolling out. Then you'll have Ruth and Boaz, and then you also have the Seventh Heaven reboot, which is on in the early stages.
Yeah.
And looking into your background, you were at Columbia,
Yes, I was Columbia
came
Pictures
out.
for 10 years. Hmm.
And so was this like a long time coming? Was this like the first? Because I used to love Seventh Heaven, right? Was that like the first show that you were like, this embodies sort of what I want to put out?
No, not at all, actually. It really wasn't. I mean, coming into as a kid growing up, my first desire was to play football. And then, when freshman year I got hurt trying out for the junior varsity team, I said, okay, well, clearly God doesn't want me to go to the NFL. He wants me to go to Hollywood. And so when I got that kind of revelation or that feeling that Hollywood was going to be my career path, I never saw at that time inspirational content necessarily. I understood the mission. I want to, do things that can inspire and uplift, but I really wasn't clear on how that was going to happen.
Mm,
So when Seventh Heaven was on the air, it was like, oh, okay, cool. That's a great show. It's a big show, but never once did I ever think that, oh, I want to produce shows like Seventh Heaven. And initially, I didn't even see producing television. I only saw producing films.
really?
So when television opened up for me to be able to produce, I produced Kingdom Business for BET Plus, and I have my production company. We have a deal with CBS Studios, and we're developing Seventh Heaven as part of that deal. That was all a surprise to me. I was like, oh wow, okay, this is great to be able to now to produce, for the small screen, so to speak. So no, I never saw it, but I'm so grateful to have for the opportunity because given, what my skill set is and what my mission statement is, that it's a perfect fit to
Yeah.
be able to reboot and bring back to life this classic show that means so much to millions of followers around the world. And I believe that what we're doing with, reintroducing it to this new generation will appease and be happy to the fans of the original will love it. And I
Mhm.
think we're also going to get a whole new crowd of fans that are going to love the reboot.
Are you able to share a little bit about like what's different about it, what's going to be the same about it?
I can't speak on it yet. But I'll come back. I will come back, but I can't speak on it yet.
No, that's fine.
But
That's
yes,
absolutely fine.
what I can tell you is the essence, the themes will be the same.
Okay.
But we will modernize it and make it feel contemporary and make it feel, like it's happening now.
Are you a little bit worried or concerned about any type of backlash or like fear in regards to, unfortunately, the tainted legacy of the original.
Yeah, you know, I think that when you look at the show and you look at what the values of the show were when they on screen, I think that's what we're looking to take as the foundation of what this new show will be. So, you know, we hope that again, fans of the original will see it and say, okay, yeah, they did a really good job with honoring what the original show was about. And we hope that new fans will, you know, give it an opportunity for them to experience and say, oh, this is actually really good. And this is what we need. So, you know, with development and production, you never know how it's going to turn out. But my hope is that both old and new will find that this is a very faithful adaptation and they will find it entertaining.
So you're the king of pivot. That's what I look at. You constantly pivot, but you're right. Every project that you do sort of has central themes
Yeah.
that also seem like things that you live by. What is your take on pivoting?
Yeah. You know, I think I would look at it, you know, using a reference that I used earlier, which is it's about being open. It's about accepting, right? Because sometimes a pivot implies, you know, I see this direction may not work, so let me go that direction.
Right.
I see that direction may not work, so let me go there. You know, it almost implies a ping ponging.
Right.
But to me, the power isn't in the pivot, it's in the acceptance, it's in the embrace. So it's not this or that, it's this and that. So I'm not pivoting from that to this. I'm accepting this in this. So that's the power. So I would encourage anyone to, you know, don't pivot, accept,
Yeah.
embrace, open your arms, open yourself to allow what comes in because who we are when we really just tap into that and we are committed to that discovery, it's a magnet.
Hmm.
Who you are is a magnet to everything that wants to come in. The only thing that can limit coming things coming in that are actually attracted to you is your mindset. Period. So same with me. So for me, it's not about pivoting, it's about expansion. It's about embrace. It's about allowing. And I have to continuously, like literally divorce myself from my previous understanding of myself
Mm.
so that I can receive what wants to come in on a daily basis. So, you know, again, I don't see it as a pivot. I see it as an embrace and an acceptance of all that I am and a discovery, which is great. I'm excited about the discovery and I want others to, you know, be on this path of discovery as well.
Looking at your entire career, because it's so interesting. I feel like I'm I'm now learning a lot more about you, especially when it comes career wise. But it also seems like you have a very long way to go, right? You
Yes.
you have a very long resume, and celebrated resume, right? But you have a very long resume ahead of you, and I'm so excited to see what happens, right? Because it seems like you just have like a lot of things in the works, whether it's people know or people don't. In regards to the story that you want to tell, is there a story that you really want to tell that you haven't touched upon yet that you can talk about?
I mean, ooh, um, you know, most of the stories that I want to tell, I am in the process of telling.
No.
One of those stories is, so I just produced a film called Relationship Goals for Amazon that stars Kelly Rowland and Method Man. And I have another movie with Amazon that I've been developing called Daring to Live, which is based upon a true story of four women that use extreme adventures to face their greatest fears in life, you know, from going whitewater rafting to skydiving. And it's kind of like Waiting to Exhale meets Bucket List. And it's a true story. And so I've been working on this for a long time. And, you know, I'm finally at the point where it feels like we're going to get the script right and I can get it into production next year. But it's a powerful story. Again, it's another true story of these women. The main woman, her name is Sherry Hunter, and her husband died suddenly. And she was in grief and couldn't get out of it. And her three girlfriends from Bible study group rallied around her and said, "Okay, we gotta get you out of this." And nothing they tried worked until one of them said, "Hey, well, I got a Groupon to go whitewater rafting." They looked at each other and said, "Well, it's called whitewater rafting because we don't do it because all four are black women." And so anyway, Sherry said, "Okay, fine, it's crazy enough. I'll try it." They went whitewater rafting. It was a disaster. You know, their hair got messed up. They fell in the water, the whole thing. But when they came out of the experience, they never felt more alive.
Mm.
Started to dare each other to face their fears and do these adventures, and they, have done them all around the world. And so I've been working on this movie for, oh my goodness, 6, 7 years at this point.
Uh,
Yeah, for just now getting ready to get it produced. It looks like we'll produce it. I'll produce it next summer.
yeah, that I definitely want to see. I
I
definitely
love
need because I
it.
definitely think we all get so caught up in life and
Yeah.
like kind of we stop taking chances and we stop trying new things and we kind of just follow the same melody. So like something like that, I'm like, oh yes,
Yeah.
definitely, definitely. See, that's what I'm saying. You have a bunch of projects.
Yes.
And the work, and they all sound amazing. Because yes, the Kelly Rowland Method Man one, I can't wait for that one.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
it's like you have a lot of projects in the work. So just to go right back to the beginning, when it comes to Be True,
Yeah.
what is one truth that you think everybody should find within themselves?
The one truth that everyone should find in themselves, and I talk about this in the show, which is when we fully put ourselves on a path of embracing who we are. Some people who have been attached to the fictional version or the persona, they will not like who you really are.
Mhm.
So, one thing that people have to get comfortable with, and I talk about this, is it's okay being disliked. And I know that seems odd. It's like, really? Because what happens is we don't want to be disliked. So then we begin to change us, manipulate us. Oh, I'm not going to say this. I'm not going to post that. I'm not going to do this. So then our entire freedom is taken away because we are afraid of people's point of view, their comments, their commentary. And then the commentary becomes the director of our life instead of God. So, one of the things to take away is when you pursue your truth and pursue who you really are, some people are not going to like it. Well, guess what? That's on them. It's not on you.
Wow. But I needed that. I needed that. And I think everybody needs to hear that because we don't like to admit that we don't want to be disliked, you know?
I know. It's so true. I mean, I think all of us are united by that.
Yeah,
And at the end of the day, we can't let other people's opinions of our lives, of our
yeah.
careers, become prisons in which we live for the rest of our life. Like, no, no, follow your truth, follow who you are, discover who you are, explore who you are. And there are some people that what happens in my experience is that what I've learned in my experience is that when we do that, when we become true, if somebody isn't in their truth, they're probably not gonna respond to yours.
Yeah.
And that's okay. It's a reflection of them. And here's the beautiful thing about what's true. What's true today may not be true tomorrow. What's true tomorrow may not be true on Thursday. And that's the process of life as we know it. Don't be afraid. This is where I am today.
Yeah.
Don't try to push yourself to be somewhere you're not. You may
Right.
be in a moment where, what? Today my truth is I'm frustrated.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that. Why are you frustrated? All right, well, here's why I'm frustrated. Okay, cool. Now, be in touch with why you're frustrated because you'd be surprised that just being in touch with it might help resolve it. But then tomorrow, your truth is, you know what? I'm optimistic. I feel really good. So, my point is that process of going and following your truth, it can make you disliked or discouraged by other people. That's because of what's going on in them, not because of what's going on in you or I.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the conversation. It's definitely timely and needed. It's an evergreen. It's definitely needed at any time that somebody needs to hear this. So I definitely thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations on this. And congratulations on everything you have going on. Like you
Thank
have a lot going on, and I think it's projects that the world needs to see,
Thank you.
So thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. And thank you for giving me the chance to talk about it all.
We'll talk soon.
Okay, I look forward to it. Take care. God bless.